Question 1. Write 180 minutes in hours. We know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes. If we're converting hours into minutes, we multiply by 60. If we're going from minutes into hours, we do the opposite and we divide by 60. As we're going from 180 minutes into hours, therefore I'm going to divide by 60. As both top and bottom end in 0, I can divide top and bottom by 10, i.e. cancel a 0. And now 18 divided by 6 gives us 3. Hence 180 minutes is 3 hours. Question 2. Write 0.73 as a percentage. When converting a decimal into a percentage, we multiply by 100. If we're converting a percentage into a decimal, we do the opposite. And the opposite of multiply by 100 will be divide by 100. As we're asked to write 0.73 as a percentage, we're going from a decimal to a percentage. Therefore, I'm going to multiply by 100. When multiplying by 100, that's the same as moving my decimal place in 2 places to the right. Hence, 0.73 multiplied by 100 gives us 73%. Question 3. Work out 10 multiplied by, in single brackets, 3 plus 5. When we've got a series of operations, our first step is to write down the word BIDMAS or BODMAS. BIDMAS tells us the order in which we should carry out each of the operations, while B stands for brackets. Therefore, I must do any brackets I have first. In this case, I'm going to leave the 10 outside, leave the multiplication sign outside, dealing with my brackets. Well, here on the inside, 3 add 5 gives us 8. I stands for indices. Do I have any indices? Well, in this case, no, because indices are our powers. I've got no powers. Next comes D, which is division. Have I got any division? In this case, no. So I can cross out division. Next, I have M, which stands for multiplication. Do I have multiplication? In this case, yes. So here I have 10 multiplied by 8, which gives us 80. Now that I've worked out my answer, I now stop. Just for completeness, the A in BIDMAS stands for addition, and the S in BIDMAS stands for subtraction. Question 4. Write down a prime number that is between 20 and 30. We should know a prime number is only divisible by 1 and itself. The only prime numbers between 20 and 30, in this case, are 23 and 29. We are only asked to give a prime number. Therefore, either of those would get you the 1 mark. Question 5. Find a number that is exactly halfway between 7 and 15. If you're finding a number halfway between 2 numbers, all we simply do is we add up our 2 numbers and we always divide by 2. 7 add 15, that gives us 22. And 22 divided by 2 gives us 11. So 11 is halfway between 7 and 15. Question 6. Harry is planning a holiday for 4 people for 7 days. Here are the costs for the holiday for each person. Work out the total cost of the holiday for 4 people for 7 days. Therefore, my first step is to work out the cost of the holiday for each person. Well, for each person, here I'm told the travel costs £150. I'm told the hotel is £50 for each day. As they're staying for 7 days, therefore I'm going to do 50 multiplied by 7. Well, I know 5 times 7 gives us 35. So 50 times 7 gives us 350. And also the spending money is £250. Adding up the total cost for each person, well, 0 and 0 and 0 gives us 0. Adding our tens column, 5 add 5 is 10, add 5 gives us 15. So 5 down, carry the 1. Adding up our hundreds column, 1 add 3 is 4, add 2 is 6, add the 1 I carried gives us 7. Therefore, the total cost of the holiday is £750 per person. As I was asked to work out the total cost of the holiday for 4 people, well, it's £750 per person. And as I've got 4 people, therefore I've got to multiply my answer by 4. 4 times 0 gives me 0. As I know, anything times by 0 is still 0. 4 times 5 gives us 20. So 0 down, carry the 2. I know that 4 times 7 gives us 28. Add that 2 I carried gives us 30. So therefore, the total cost of the holiday for 4 people for 7 days is £3,000. Question 7. In Adam's garden, the flowers are only red or white or yellow or blue. The chart shows the number of red flowers, the number of white flowers, and the number of yellow flowers. The total number of flowers is 30. Work out the number of blue flowers. Therefore, my first step is to total up the number of red, white, and yellow flowers. Looking at red, well, I can see red corresponds to 8. So there's 8 red flowers. Looking at white, we can see I've got 10 white flowers. And looking at yellow, I can see I've got in between 4 and 6, therefore 5 yellow flowers. 8 add 10 is 18, add 5 gives us 23. As there's only red, white, yellow or blue, and in total it came to 30, therefore to work out number of blue, it's going to be my total number of flowers, in this case 30, subtract the total of the red, white and yellow, which is 23, and 30 take away 23 gives us 7. Part B, write down the mode. Well, mode represents most. A way of remembering is mode and most both start with letters MO. In this case, our most occurring flower, in this case, is white, as white occurred 10 times, red only occurred 8, yellow occurred 5, and blue only occurred 7. Question 8. Write the following fractions in order of size. Start with the smallest fraction. To order fractions, we must have a common denominator. If they don't have a common denominator, like in this case, we want to find the lowest common multiple, the first number that appears in the 3, 4, 4 and 12 times table, which in this case is the number 12. So I can change each of these denominators to be out of 12. Looking at the bottom of the first fraction, what have I multiplied 3 by to get to 12? Well, I've multiplied by 4. Hence, I must do the same to the top of the fraction to keep it equivalent. And 1 times 4 gives us 4. So 1/3 is equivalent to 4 over 12. Looking at my second fraction, what have I times 4 by on the bottom to get to 12? Well, I've times it by 3. Hence, I must do the same to the top to keep the fraction equivalent. And 3 times 3 gives us 9. So 3/4 is equivalent to 9 over 12. Looking at my next fraction, what have I times 4 by to get to 12? Well, I've times it by 3. Hence, I must do the same to the top to keep it equivalent. And 1 times 3 gives us 3. So 1/4 is equivalent to 3 over 12. Looking at my last fraction, well, I haven't changed the denominator, i.e. the bottom number. Hence, I don't change the top number either. So just leave it as 7 over 12. Now that I've got a common denominator for each of my fractions, and I was asked to order my fractions starting with the smallest, therefore I just look at numbers on the top to find the smallest. Well, the smallest number on the top in this case is 3. So therefore that corresponded to a quarter. So a quarter is my smallest fraction. The next smallest number on the top in this case is 4, and that corresponded to my third. So that's my next smallest fraction. My next smallest number on the top corresponds to 7, which is 7 over 12. So that's my next smallest fraction. And then finally, 3/4 is my largest fraction. Question 9. Ruth left her home at 9 a.m. and walked to the library. She got to the library at 10:30 a.m. Ruth walked a speed of 4 miles per hour. Work out a distance Ruth walked. As we're trying to work out distance, our first step is to draw our formula triangle. Our formula triangle, when dealing with distance, speed, time, is Dad's silly triangle, so DST. As I want to work out distance, which corresponds to letter D, when using a formula triangle, you always cover up the one you want. As I want D for distance, cover up D, and whatever you're left with is your formula. Hence, distance equal to S, which is my speed. We know a vertical line in a formula triangle means to multiply. So therefore, distance is the speed multiplied by T, where T is our time. We're told her speed is 4 miles per hour. Therefore, S, I'm going to substitute number 4. And it's going to be multiplied by her time. To work out her time, well, what time did she leave her home? She left her home at 9 a.m. And she got to the library at 10:30 a.m. From 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. is 1.5 hours. So therefore, her time is 1.5. Always make sure you're dealing in the same units. Her speed was in miles per hour, so you want her time in terms of hours. And 4 times 1.5 gives us 6 miles. Ruth got to the library at 10:30 a.m. She stayed at the library for 50 minutes. Then she walked home. Ruth took 1.25 hours to walk home. At what time did Ruth get home? We know she got to the library at 10:30 a.m. And she stayed there for 50 minutes. So we're going to start by adding on our 50 minutes. Well, 10:30 add 15 minutes will bring us up to 11:20. Remember, there's 60 minutes an hour. So from 10:30 up to 11 a.m., that would be 30 minutes. And as she stayed there for 50 minutes, add on an extra 20 minutes, will bring us to 11:20. And she then took 1.25 hours to walk home. Well, adding on the 1 hour first, we know 11:20 add 1 hour will bring us up to 12:20. And we're still going to add on the quarter of an hour. We know a quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. So 12:20 add 15 minutes means she gets home at 12:35.